Mixing it up, brothers. We are mixing it up with a front cam vertical video. Just finished at the gym, did a 30-minute session, making sure I left enough time to get home to be with my wife for the midwife appointment this morning. I was challenged by one of the brothers in the group. Shout out to Azar. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. He's an up-and-coming powerhouse of a man. He's a prophet. He lives in the fifth dimension, and he is down here on the third, spreading the seed of light. Sub to his channel, link is below. So Azar, which means king, challenged me to make a video as my inner child, or from my inner child, not just about my inner child. So I want to talk about what's coming up lately. I'm getting this mirror reflection from other brothers in the group, and in particular a coaching call I did this week with a brother from the US, East Coast. What's coming up for me right now is this desire for love, wanting love. This is really what's driving many of us. I know it's what's been driving me for a long time. And it plays out in many different expressions. So this brother of mine, he said that he had been feeling angry, right? He actually relapsed in the last week. He said he'd been feeling a lot of pride come up, a bit of cockiness, a bit of arrogance. And he didn't really like feeling the pride because he was afraid of it. He didn't want to feel too proud because he thought that it might lead to him doing something stupid. So instead of allowing himself to feel the pride, he dropped back into fear. And from fear, he was feeling angry. He was feeling angry, maybe that he was suppressing his true feelings. And so from the anger, he relapsed to escape the feeling of anger. And I asked him these questions. This is what we do when we do coaching. We just ask questions. We just mirror. We just keep probing, penetrating deeper and deeper. Doing a coaching session is like having sex. You're penetrating deeper and deeper into the unconscious, into the feminine aspect of the mind. And you're bringing back jewels as you open up the unconscious, you open up the feminine. You're bringing back gifts, treasure that lies buried in the unconscious. And so as I kept asking him questions, he was saying, really what was driving all of this, the pride, the anger, the fear, was the desire to be loved. The desire to be loved. And so I said to him, can you allow yourself to feel that desire for love? Can you just let yourself feel how much you want to be loved? And as I encouraged him to feel these feelings, I saw his body start to relax. I saw his body language start to open up. I saw him become soft, open, luminous, as he got in touch with this deeply suppressed desire. This is one of the core drivers. Now I'm going to bring this back to me because that's what Brother Azar asked me to talk about. I have been searching for love my whole life. As a little kid, being quite shy, being quite introverted in a sense, I didn't want to overexpose myself and be rejected. So I tried to protect myself by being shy, by being quiet. This developed into me becoming very perfectionist, focusing on the things that I was good at, which wasn't necessarily talking putting myself out there, making friends. Instead, I would focus on drawing, on reading, on observing. This is what I became good at. This is what I became a perfectionist at. I was so much desiring love that I wouldn't let myself do things if I thought I was going to fail at them. I was a perfectionist. I didn't want to risk losing love from my parents, from my friends, from my teachers. I shielded myself in this perfectionist behavior. Now, as I got older and became interested in women, this shyness carried through. I would become so shy in relationships, in my first few relationships in high school. I wouldn't even talk to my girlfriend. I was afraid. I wrapped myself up in this shell of being perfect, hiding my imperfections, hiding my flaws. And as time went on, this habit of applying myself very, very deeply to the things that I was good at and neglecting other aspects of my life, such as my social relationships, this started to create a sense of alienation. I felt deep shame around my sexual desires, being raised in a Christian mindset, which subconsciously told me that sex was not okay. It wasn't okay to want to have sex. Sex was just for making babies and all those other stories that go along with much of our religious programming. And so my desire for sex, because I couldn't express it, because I couldn't express how I felt to women, I felt very awkward, very weird, unnatural expressing my attraction to women. It went underground and I started fantasizing, using porn, using masturbation as an escape. And so I had this double life. On the outside, I was this mild-mannered, Clark Kent, shy sort of kid. Behind closed doors, I was a sexual demon, looking at the most messed up types of porn I could find, and just becoming a pervert, really, because I was so afraid of accepting my sexual nature. I felt deep shame, deep shame. But there's this other side of me, the child, which I also started to bury, which was my playful, happy, spontaneous, silly side. I remember around about the age of 14, I started to become very, very serious. I started to hide my funny, goofy, silly personality because I wanted people to take me seriously. And you know what? Looking back, I'm going to be real raw here, real vulnerable. Looking back, I think I was sexually undeveloped. I'm not going to lie. I think my secondary sexual characteristics, such as facial hair, deep voice, muscular development, all these secondary sexual characteristics that develop in puberty as a man, I think I delayed them severely, possibly. It's just an idea. I remember being asked by a kid in my grade whether I'd hit puberty or not when I was about aged 15. And I was so shattered by that question because I had hit puberty, but it seemed like it wasn't very obvious. It wasn't very clear. So I feel like I started taking on this serious exterior so that I could appear more developed. I could appear more masculine than I felt in my body. I started to hide my goofiness. I started to train myself to speak very selectively and also to speak very well. So, all these things that happen, they're a curse and a blessing. Every curse contains a blessing. And so it's taken me a long time to re-own this silly, goofy, playful, rat bag side of myself. I've done a lot of work on myself over the last few years, and I think I've really been able to come back in touch with a large part of my child self, but there's still further to go. And honestly, these videos are a really big help for me learning how to express myself more naturally, more freely. In a funny way, these videos have become like my journal. They've become a mode of expression for me, which allows me to speak in a way that I honestly don't feel that comfortable to speak in my everyday life around the people that I know, for the most part. I don't have many people in my real 3D life right now that I can speak to as openly as I speak to you in these videos. So you should consider yourself very lucky. You're kind of like my inner circle, even though I've never actually met you. That's some crazy shit. That's another part of my child self. It's that imagination, that philosophical, that part of me which just goes off on tangents and just goes deep into these questions about the universe and reality. And that's a big part of my child self. It's the exploration, the what ifs, the going outside of the boundaries of what is immediately apparent to me. So all of these things are becoming more a part of me every day as I continue, especially on God mode, on SR. It definitely brings you back in touch with these forgotten aspects of yourself, these remnants. So I'm really grateful for that. And Azar, I'm really grateful for you challenging me to make this video. For all you guys watching, I challenge you to challenge me to probe into more of these uncomfortable topics, because that's what this channel's about. It's not necessarily just about building a huge channel, getting views. It's about exploring in the places that most people are not willing to explore. I want to be on the cutting edge of consciousness, of spirituality, of growth, of discovery. That's what gets my child self excited. So, love you guys. That's my challenge for you. I challenge you to start making videos. Honestly, we got a lot of guys in the group right now who've started making videos. Many of them don't get many views, but it's not about that. It's about learning to use this mode of expression, this gift from God. Opening up your throat chakra. This is a huge part of fully embodying your masculine self. Learning to speak with authority. And honestly, making videos for the last, 8 or 9 years has been one of the most powerful things I've done to open me up in that sense. So I challenge you to start making videos. You can even post your links below in the comments so that we can all see your videos. But if you want a structured environment where we're going to hold you accountable, we're going to challenge you each week. We're going to get you to share your videos. We're going to encourage everyone in the group to subscribe to your channel and give you feedback. If you want that, join the Sons of God. Link is below. $5 a month. Don't be a bitch. Don't complain. This is going to fast track your growth. It's going to hold you accountable on your SR journey. And you're going to be gaining a brotherhood. Iron sharpens iron. Oh!